Hey, it's Lowry Smith of the CommanderSmiths here with searching for the spotlight Magus Lucea Kane. Jacuzzi was playing this the other day on Patreon playtime. I don't that's not the name of it. I don't know what we call it. Um but we play some games with patrons and he was playing this. I thought it was pretty dope, so I wanted to give it a go. And because I had an old X spell deck with we'll get to her, but that red green giant thing from Shadowmoor. So I had a deck years ago on that, and I always kind of liked it. And so hopefully this kind of has that feel for it. Just doubling stuff is always awesome, right? And so we'll see where we go. The Commander Smiths is a podcast that comes out on audio every Wednesday, and Monday nights we go live on YouTube here. So if you care to join and check it out, it is a lot of fun. Let's see. Is going to be Bacchus in this deck. Stream of Life. I did not pull that card, but you're probably not wrong. I don't think I have Hurricane in here. I think Hurricane is actually something I do want in here. And Hockey is saying these colors, you're building Miram, and you're unwilling to build until I help you. All right. No, the ramp ain't gonna be hard. It's not gonna be too bad. You can do that, Hockey. Don't worry about it. All right. Like I said, we're a podcast. We try and come out with something multiple times a week. We do shorts, which are curated. MTG is about single cards and what decks they can go in. We do the podcast, like I said. We will do deck building, which is what this is. Sometimes randomly, Adam will do like how he makes proxies. Um, what else do we do? You can compare art with Adam's new shorts, which is which card makes you hard. Fantastic name, I know. And we've grown up a lot since in the last 5 years because we just used to do alliteration that first year, and it was awful. I'm sure. I haven't listened in years to to years ago stuff. Right. Okay. All right, Lowry. Um, hit that like button. If you're not subbed, please sub. We are trying to hit 1,000, and once we hit 1,000 subs, we have a big giveaway. You can check that out on our main page. But we're giving away about $1,000 worth of stuff: play mats, cards. Some are damaged, signed, foiled, old school. We got a lot of or unique, foreign, and so there's a lot going on there. You can check out that video and help us out there and enter yourself into the giveaway. Uh, don't forget to smash that like button. Thanks, Hockey. That's exactly right. Well, I mean, I'm not going to say anything if you don't hit it, but it'd be appreciated. That'd be nice. If you are not watching this live, I suggest going to 1.5 speed. I don't want to go more than 2 hours, but it'll at least be that more than likely. Once I get into the 70s is when I'll probably quit, and you'll have a pretty good idea of where I'm at. I take this stack of cards and I go through it and I start cutting down, and so you see the deck building process, the cards that I have, and um, that's where we're at. All right, Magus Lucea Kane. Let's see here. One, a green, a blue, a red. It is a 1/1 human Tyranid wizard. Uh, uh, am I being too loud? Well, I mean, that's not exciting, Renshai. Oh, okay. I'm not being loud. I mean, I could whisper. I have a soft voice. If you listen to curators, hey, it's Lowry Smith, or hey, it's curated him. I can soften my voice because I used to do it like recorded in the basement right underneath my son's room, and I would wake him up with my normal voice, and so I developed a softer voice that was not as loud. All right, Magus Lucia Kane did all that stuff. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a 1/1 counter on target creature, and then also you can tap it, add 2 colorless when you next cast a spell with X in its mana cost or activate an ability with X in its activation cost. This turn, copy that spell or ability. You may choose new targets for the copy. That's what I really like. I think that's the cool part. Doubling up is always fun. There's potential for a lot of big things. That's a sexy voice. Hey, how's it going? All right. We have parts here. I have it in relatively straight. This first part is going to be our ramp spells that we're going to choose from at least. And then I can also add in, staples if I wasn't really looking for the staples at the point. But all right, chromatic lantern, we'll see if that's needed. I know there is a bunch of multicolored spells, so it just kind of depends on what I'm looking at, but might not work. Magus of the Candelabra is there for the X activated ability. I can tap it, untap X target lands, and that happens twice. And so you can really mega ramp with that in there. It's pretty awesome. Kodama of the West Tree. This is here. Modified creatures when they deal damage. You can go and get basic lands and put them into play tapped. And most of these X spell creatures come in with 1/1 counters, which means they're modified, and it's going to be a good card. Nature's Lore just goes, gets a land. Birds of Paradise is nice ramp. Farseek goes, gets a land. Sporocyst. Also, I'm going to try and keep with the pre-con deck, those Warhammer 40K. So some of the if I'm trying to choose between two that are from the pre-con and not, I'm gonna try and lean into what the pre-con is doing a little bit. So, but a lot of cards did not make the cut. So Sporocyst, Ravenous. So I won't repeat Ravenous after this, but if X is 5 or more, when it ETBs, you draw a card. This has Defender, and then when it enters the battlefield, search your library for up to X basic land cards, put them into the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. So it's a ramp card. Traverse the Outlands, assuming I'm going to have some big fatties, and so this will allow me to get a lot of basic lands into play tapped. Gyre Sage, this has Evolve. It will almost always evolve. And then also it taps for green for each 1/1 counter on Gyre Sage. And so it works decently well with Magus as well. So I can put a 1/1 counter on it and can tap. It'll kind of always evolve. We'll see how that goes. Zavala, Heart of the Wilds is going to be great. But whenever the largest powered creature ETBs, that person draws a card. So this can help your opponents, but the big one is green tap at X mana, and then the X spells just get bigger and bigger and bigger. So it goes crazy. Bloom Tender is going to tap for 3 mana. Animus Awakening, X spell, reveal top X cards, and then put all lands into play tapped. And then if there are 2 or more sorcery or instant cards, they come into play untapped. So could be cool. Ordeal of Nylea. Basically, you're going to have creatures with 1/1 counters on them. You put this on there, they attack. This gets sacked, and you get to go and get 2 basic lands and put them into play tapped. These, I was thinking this could be interesting, but I don't think this is going to work. But Yangu, a Wildcrafter. Each creature you control with a 1/1 counter on it has tap, add 1 mana of any color. I think they're just mostly going to be fatties, so we'll just cut it for now. I don't think that's gonna turn into stuff. Great Henge is gonna get smaller, and so adds counters. It's such a crazy good card, so it works in here. Nexos, this is a 2/2. Basic lands you control, tap for colorless, spend only on costs that contain X. So your activated abilities or the spells, it's gonna be nice. Biophagus. This taps for mana, and then it comes adds a 1/1 counter onto whatever creature came into play if you cast it. Incubation Druid. Add 1 mana of any color type of a land you control could produce. If Incubation Druid has a 1/1 counter on it, add 3 mana of that type instead. And so it's kind of in this deck, it's another Bloom Tender because you just Magus 1/1 counter on it works. Elysian Carotid. I think I'm going to cut these two since we have kind of specialty stuff, Nexos, Biophage, Incubation Druid works. Yeah, that's Biophagus for Hamza makes a ton of sense. Elysian Caryatid, if you have a creature with power 4 or more, it'll tap for 2. And Whisper of the Wild, same thing, 2 green, but we'll just cut both of those for now. Along with Rishkar, your creatures are going to be big. I don't want to be using them for mana, so we will pass on that. Fertile Did comes into play with 2 1/1 counters on it. Pay a green colorless, remove a 1/1 counter, and go and get a basic into play tapped. And if you so wish, Magus can put more counters on it to get more land. Works. Hero Specs. Whenever another creature dies, put a 1/1 counter on Hero Specs. That works for everybody. You know, all their creatures that are dying. Tap, remove X 1/1 counters from Hero Specs. Add X mana of any one color. We'll see if that works, but me. I don't know. Rampant Rejuvenator enters the battlefield with 2 1/1 counters on it, and then whenever it dies, search your library for X basic land cards where X is its power into the battlefield, then shuffle. So there's a potential, there's a lot of counter stuff going on. This could get big, this could be still small, but 4 mana to have a Hydra, I think it has a shot. Astral Cornucopia. This is X spell, and then so you double it with Magus, and then it taps, choose a color. Enters the battlefield with X charge counters on it. And so choose a color, add 1 mana of that color to your mana pool for each charge counter on Astral Cornucopia. um, and so that should be nice, doubling it up. XXX. Yeah, this is definitely a porno right here. Elementalist Palette. Whenever you cast an X spell, put 2 charge counters on it, and then it can tap for as many charge counters as you have on it for X spells, or it's just mana of any color. Soul Ring, obviously. Rattle Claw Mystic, 2 mana, taps for a red, green, or blue. Animar, Soul of Elements, put a 1/1 counter on it. Creature spells cost 1 less to cast for each 1/1 counter on it. Kind of just keeps on working together. Shadow in the Warp. The first creature spell you cast each turn costs 2 less to cast, and whenever an opponent casts their first non-creature spell each turn, it deals 2 damage to that player. Um, it might not be enough, especially we have a lot of specialized ramp here. All right, Roshin Meander was the deck I was talking about. Had an X spell of this before the cast, so like we're talking 6 years ago at this point. But it was fun. It was a lot of fun. So we'll see if we can get that going again. Goblin Anarchomancer, and this reduces red or green spells by 1. Not too bad. Arcane Signet for the ramp. And that is the ramp package at that point. And I might just try and cut. I think Chromatic Lantern can be cut. Anything that just doesn't really make a ton of sense. Like, more and more of this is going to have to get cut either way. Hero Specs is probably just too expensive, but Rattleclaw, Animar. Let's just cut Shadow and Goblin and Anarchomancer. Can always add them back in later, but yeah. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. And generally, so 10 will have to be cut from here. I generally end up, somewhere in between 15 and 20 for my ramp. What about the Smith package? My camera is not set up to see my package, so I apologize there, Hockey. All right. Getting into the draw. Gadwick the Wizened. Even though that copy would be a legend as well, and it'd go away, you're drawing multiple cards. Microscope or telescope? Whatever. I don't know. No zoom? What do you mean no zoom? for my Smith package. Is that what we're talking about? You guys. You guys. Let's see here. So Gadwick, the Wizened, the X is to draw, and then whenever you cast a blue spell, you can tap a permanent an opponent controls. So it's just a creature that allows you a little bit more reach, but nice draw. Lifeblood Hydra would be doubled. Enters the battlefield with X1/1 counters on it, and then whenever it dies, gain life and draw cards equal to its power. So it's a nice little draw life gain thing going on there. Genesis Hydra would be doubled, and then whatever X is, you get to look at that many cards and put one of them from among them onto the battlefield, a permanent, and then shuffle the rest. So a little bit of card draw. Kavu Lair, whenever a creature with power 4 or greater comes into play, its controller draws a card. You are more than likely going to be able to use that better than your opponents. Momentous Fall. You can sacrifice a creature and then draw cards equal to the sacrificed creature's power, then gain life equal to its toughness. Not too bad. This is something that I'm going to cut, but just showing that you can do it. Garrick's Uprising. Is that another dick joke? Probably. All right. Green Sun Zenith is a tutor. I don't use tutors. This would be on brand, but cheating, also putting in Hydras just doesn't do much because you need to pay the X. So not going to work here. Not on this one. Oh, the other thing, if you're thinking about building this, I would put money down that there is a decent mill deck in with Magus Lucea Kane. I would bet that. Oh, Paul, it is Magus Lucea Kane. It will double X spells and abilities, activated abilities. So that's what we're doing here. Finale of Devastation. This is also a big pump spell and a tutor. I will avoid this as much as I can, just for the tutor aspect. But this is a game ender in this deck. I highly suggest getting yourself one of those either way. Life's Legacy. As an additional cost to cast a spell, sacrifice a creature, draw cards equal to the sacrificed creature's power. Not too bad. Oh, there we go. Hockey. Garrick's Uprising. Right there. You called it. You're going to be drawing cards. They have trample, drawing cards for creatures power 4 or more. Elemental Bond. Creatures with power 3 or higher, you get to draw a card when the ETB. Greater Good. Oh, we do use proxies if you haven't noticed. And like I said, Adam makes the proxies. We hand them out to patrons. We have a Discord if you want to get on our Patreon. $1 will get you in the Discord. It is a fun crew. I promise you. All right, Greater Good. It's an enchantment. You sacrifice a creature to draw cards equal to the sacrificed creature's power, then choose and discard 3 cards. In this deck, I'm assuming that I will be drawing a bunch that way if needed. Armor Craft Judge. 3/3 enters the battlefield. Draw a card for each creature you control with a 1/1 counter on it. Have a pretty good chance to draw a couple cards off that. The Mana Rig. Hockey sending a ticket for his proxies so he can get more free. Yeah, that's we're not wizards. You just be happy with the faults. That it gives them character, right? The Mana Rig, whenever you cast a multicolored spell, you get a Power Stone token, which can only do abilities or artifact spells. And so this X spell can be doubled with Lucea Kane. And then basically you can put, if you pay 6, you can put 2 in and 2 in. It's not too bad. Pull from tomorrow is just X spell doubled up, drawing cards, multiple choice X spell. If X is 1, scry 1, draw a card. If it's 2, choose a player. They return a creature they control to its owner's hand. If it's 3, create a 4/4 token. And if it's 4, choose all of them, doubled up. You got a lot of value there. Commander's Insight, which is instant speed, expa draw spell. Ingenious Mastery is another draw spell with X in it, but also a cheaper version of it, which is kind of fun and cool. I like these cards, these versions, even though they're kind of hard to play. But this one is if you pay 3, you can draw 3 cards, then an opponent creates 2 treasure tokens and scries twice. If the cost wasn't paid, you draw X cards. So that can get doubled up, or it's just cheaper and you're getting some value out of it, but helping somebody else out. Sage of Fables, you can remove a 1/1 counter and draw a card. This one is whenever a benthic biomancer has adapt, so you can put a 1/1 counter on it. When that happens, you can draw a card, discard a card. Whenever Magus are around, you can just put one on there, draw a card, discard a card. Kind of cool. Contentious Plan. I don't think I'm gonna go too much proliferate, but it's proliferate, draw a card. Not too bad. Heuristic Study. Message retracted. Heuristic Study? No, I did not put that in here to begin with. Ordeal of Thassa is the same thing as the Ordeal of Nylea. So basically, I'm able to put it on a creature because they all have 1/1 counters on it. Attack, sacrifice it, draw 2 cards. Sataniel Flute. I don't. I'm sorry. What's the meme of heuristic study spelled like that? I don't get it. You gotta remember, I'm a little older than you. I don't meme culture is not I love it. I love memes, but I don't necessarily get them all. I will admit that. This is a tutor I might be willing to keep, but it's Sataniel Flute, 5 mana, and then you can pay X and tap it, search your library for a creature card with total casting cost no greater than X. Reveal that card and put it into your hand, then shuffle your library afterwards. I think it's just bad though. I think it works. I think it can work in here if you so want to do that, but um it's a tutor. I'll get rid of it. Sensei's top for the draw. Shaman of the Great Hunt. Haste. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, put a 1/1 counter on it. And then you can pay 4, draw a card for each creature you control with power 4 or greater. So, should be drawing some cards off that. Teamer Ascendancy. Creatures you control have haste, and then power 4 or more, draw a card when it ETBs. Kiora, same thing, 4 or more, draw a card. Zegna Utopia Speaker. Creatures with 1/1 counters on them have trample. And then when it ETBs, if you control another creature with a 1/1 counter on it, draw a card. And then it can adapt 4, turn into a 8/8 trample that drew you a card. Not too bad. Fathom Mage. It has evolved. So that's whenever a creature with higher power comes into play, put a 1/1 counter on it. Whenever a 1/1 counters on it, draw a card. Works with Magus. Not too bad. Bred for the Hunt. Whenever a creature with a 1/1 counter on it, I'll just say counter. I think you just assume at this point. Whenever it deals damage, you get to draw a card. Hydroid Crassus might be the biggest draw because I've had this for a while now. Never played it, but the X spell and also Jacuzzi did get to play this too. And I was like, oh, I like that. But X, round down each time, flying trample, Hydroid, and whenever it enters the battlefield, X 1/1 counters on it. So whenever you cast a spell, gain half X life and draw half X cards, round down each time. And so if you want it to be like a 6/6, you get to gain 3 life and draw 3 cards. And that's a big flying trample. You get 2 of them. Not too shabby. Um, Here for the explosion, it's deals X damage, draw X cards, double that. Not too bad. Culmination of Studies. This kind of, I don't know how I feel about it. It's pretty random, but Expel, exile the top X cards of your library. For each land card exiled, get a treasure. For each blue card exiled this way, draw a card. For each red card exiled this way, deals 1 damage to each opponent. Um, and so with the green cards in here, that worries me. So I'll probably cut that right now. Nim the Pain Artist, X blue red, tap it. Nin deals X damage to target creature, and then you draw X cards. Oh, the creature's controller draws X cards, right? And you get to do that twice. I don't think it might. I don't know. It'll probably be all right. All right. Zemic Guildmage, basically there to remove a 1/1 counter to draw a card. Not too bad. Tyrant Guard, is this getting into the removal? No, this is protection. Into the protection now. I'm gonna grab another drink. Actually, I should quickly run through the draw aspect of this. See if there's anything I don't like, because there's definitely stuff I'm gonna have to cut. Um, I think I can get rid of these two, Momentous Fall and Life's Legacy. Just having to this one at least instant speed, but 4 mana, I'm not gonna be leaving up a lot, just dumping a ton of mana into the X spells. And Life's Legacy, not instant speed, so I'll probably get rid of those. Elemental Bond. I still like Greater Good because it's instant speed just on the board. The Mana Rig. Ooh. I like. Ooh, ooh, I'm alright with that. Shaman, Teamer, Kiora, Zagana. Giving the trample is the big thing there. Fathom Mage, Bread for the Hunt, Hydroid. We'll cut Nin as well. I just don't think it's letting them draw that many cards is painful. Right. All right. Tyrant Guard is one from 40k, so it has the Ravenous. You can sacrifice it. Creatures you control with counters on them have hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. Not too bad. Kerbis Harvest Celebrant has the X, so it'd be doubled, but it's a legend, so meh. But whenever it enters the battlefield with a number of 1/1 counters on it equal to the amount of mana spent to cast it, then you can remove a 1/1 counter from Kerberos, prevent all damage that would be dealt this turn to another target creature with 1/1 counter on it. So it's nice little protection. Silk Guard gives modified creatures hexproof until end of turn, so you can just pay a green. Most of your creatures are going to gain hexproof, but you can also just put 1/1 counters on each of up to X target creatures you control. So also not too bad. Inspiring Call is draw a card for each creature with a 1/1 counter on it, and they gain indestructible until end of turn. That's another great card in 1/1 counter spells decks. Spike Weaver comes into play with 3 1/1 counters on it, and then you can remove a 1/1 counter from it. Creatures deal no combat damage this turn, and you can kind of keep on putting stuff on there. There's the proliferate and whatnot. March of Swirling Mist as an additional cast cost. No. Up to X target creatures phase out. Phasing is important in this deck, especially when you're putting a bunch of 1/1 counters on creatures, because if they're blinked, they would not come back into play with 1/1 counters on it. So phasing is a nice way to think about it, along with it just being X spells. Same thing with change of plans, and then you can conspire. So not too bad there. Might be one of the few decks where I'm like, I want to play Mana Drain because it's so open ended with the X spells that I can just come out with a huge creature. Spellskite to protect my permanents. Fantastic card. Slip out the back is 1/1 counter on it, and also phasing out just for one creature. Teferi's Veil. Whenever any creature you control attacks, it phases out at end of combat. I don't have any untapping stuff. That helps it stay away from wraths or removal. And so it just allows it to stick around until the next turn. All right. Winged Hive Tyrant, flying haste, and then other creatures you control with counters on them have flying and haste. Not too bad. Rhythm of the Wild. So creatures you control can't be countered, and then non-token creatures control have riot, ETB with haste, or a 1/1 counter. Invigorating Hot Springs. Modified creatures with 1/1 counters on them have haste, and then you can distribute 1/1 counters as well. Swiftfoot Boots for protection and haste. Lightning Greaves, protection and haste. Heroic Intervention for the protection. And that is the protection bit right there. So anything that doesn't really fit. Do, do, do. I like slip out the back, probably. Winged Hive Tyrant probably doesn't make it, but maybe. What's the LOL for? Yeah, that's fine. All right, moving on to the removal package. Gorilla Shaman has the X ability, so that'd be doubled. I don't really have any shenanigans with him, so I don't think he really works here. But a destroy target X or target non-creature artifact with mana value X. Um, I'm gonna cut that right now. It ain't gonna work. Lanessa has an X activated and return target creature with converted mana cost X to its owner's hand. Has to be specific. Has grandeur, doesn't matter. But 4 mana to be able to return 2 creatures to their hand. Like, I can't bounce tokens technically and double it. Um, but should be able to just bounce 2 creatures, which isn't too bad. Not too bad. Thieving Skydiver, I believe this works, but it has Kicker X. And so I believe Kicker becomes part of the spell when you're doing it. So I believe this can double up. And then whenever it enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, gain control of target artifact with converted mana cost X or less. And then so you get 2/2/1 flyers and steal 2 artifacts. Not too bad. Pretty sure that's how that works. Pelucranos is dealing a bunch of damage for the monstrous. That would double up. Not too bad. Arashi, the Sky Asunder. This can tap X and deal X damage to target creature with flying. The cycling, I do not believe would be doubled because it's not a spell. I don't think it's a. I don't think it's an ability. Maybe it is. I don't know. There is a red version of this that does it to ground creatures. I did not own that, but that could also go in this stead. I'm probably not going to. I'm going to cut this one just because Silklash Spider probably makes it. But X spell activated, X activation gets doubled, X damage to each creature with flying. So that's just such a better deal. It's not maybe as aggressive, 5/5 for 2/7 reach, but being able to deal X damage to creature with flying makes sense to me. Voracious Hydra, doubles. Then when it ETBs, you want to fight it or double the counters on it. More than likely, you just want to have them fight and be removal. Uh, Aberrant has Ravenous, Trample, and then whenever it deals damage, you get to destroy an artifact or an enchantment that player controls. This card is a good card. Steelbane Hydra, also the X spell. You can pay 3, remove a 1/1 counter from it, destroy an artifact or enchantment. Doubling that up, not too bad. Pest Infestation, X spell, getting doubled, destroys artifacts, enchantments, and creates a bunch of tokens. Pest tokens, pretty good. I love this card in general. I put this into a bunch of decks, so it's going to be fantastic in here. Beast Within is just general removal. Comet Storm, X spell, bunch of damage, doubled up. Yes, please. Fall of the Titan has a surge, so you want to avoid that. So you want to cast a spell and then surge it, but deals X damage to each of up to 2 target creatures and or players. Jaya's Immolating Inferno. You can deal X damage to up to 3 target creatures, double that. Not too bad. Subterranean Tremor, it's an X spell, double it, but if it's deals X damage to each creature without flying, so that'd kind of kill your gang. I've been fighting with myself because I can wipe the board of everything but flyers and it gets rid of artifacts. Then I get 2/8/8 lizards. But like if I get 8 or more, right? So that means 16 damage to all my ground creatures. I don't think my creature is going to be that big. I'd like them to survive, but I'd also like to get rid. Yeah, we'll cut it. We'll cut it. Um, Meteor Swarm deals 8 damage divided as you choose among X target creatures and or planeswalkers. I think I was having this in Hinata and it just didn't make it. Hinata is another X spell commander, so that's pretty cool too. Meteor Swarm, just removal. Warstorm Surge, those big creatures coming into play are going to deal damage to any target. Yes. Chaos Warp. Crackle with Power is an X spell that can get doubled and deals 5 times X damage to each of up to X targets. Um, should be good. Terror of the Peaks is just another Warstorm Surge dealing damage. Another creature. Yep, dealing damage. I probably end up getting cut just because it doesn't have an X spell. Yeah, I don't know. Walking Ballista, X spell. Remove a 1/1 counter from it to deal a damage to target creature or player. Then you can put 1/1 counters on it. Not too bad. All right. Malok, it has Ravenous and then fights a creature, I believe. So removal, Ravener, Flash, Ravenous, and then when it enters the battlefield, target creature attacks target opponent this turn if able. So not too bad either. Zoanthrope, it is Ravenous, Flying Ward 2, and when it enters the battlefield, deals X damage to any target, which is removal. Apocalypse Hydra, X spell. If X is 5 or more, double the 1/1 counters. Then you can pay 2, remove 1 to deal 1 damage to any target. That is pretty mediocre. So more than likely, this is just going to be a large creature. Um, so at that point, I think we will cut it. Clan Defiance. Clan Defiance deals X damage to target creature with flying, target creature without flying, and to target player. Double that, doing a lot of things. Klaus Will is another X spell, and then you can choose one or both with the commander out. And if you're doubling it, your commander is out. But it deals X damage to each creature without flying, and it destroys up to X target artifacts and or enchantments. And so this can be a little bit smaller and be able to do more than that lizard thing. Subterranean Tremors. It's instant speed as well. This will stick around. That is my removal. Let's check that out real quick. See if we like everything that we're seeing. This is just dealing 1 damage. Beast Within and Chaos Warp are kind of nah, but I mean, let's see here. I think I'm okay because I'm only debating, well, 8 damage, but really it's 16 potentially. That's not too bad. Let's cut Meteor Swarm. Warstorm Surge can stay. But I do probably want to get rid of Terror of the Peaks. And I don't know if I really like Ravener either. Enters the battlefield. Target creature attacks target opponent this turn if able. Flash, Ravener. We'll cut that, I think. Zoanthrope. All right. All right, that. Now we're getting to smaller packages as we're going. All right. Instill Energy gives Magus haste and the ability to untap during your turn. So not too bad. Nature's Chosen does not give haste, but you can untap your creature. Freed from the Real is a blue to untap Magus and be able to potentially do it a bunch of times. Depends on how many spells. Really, all of these depend on how many spells am I casting in a turn, and I am not entirely sure. Aura of Dominion, pay 1, tap an untapped creature you control, untap enchanted creature. Retreat from Coral Helm, landfall, untap Magus, but also it scries. So this has a little bit more utility. Vigian Graft Mage, untap target creature with a 1/1 counter on it. So the untap ability. Then Cure's Follower, tap it to untap a permanent. Mage Right Stone. Tap it to untap a permanent activated ability. Max the Daredevil. Whenever you cast your second spell during a turn, untap a creature and investigate. So might be alright. Probably not. All right, getting into other stuff. Let's look at these untappers. I like the idea. What do I hate? Probably Max doesn't make it. I think I don't really want to be doing a lot. Instill energy, freed from the real. I've been spending all my time looking for it. Oh, the meme? Did you? No, you didn't send it to me. All right. Untappers doesn't have to be a lot. Hinder vines. I don't know if I know hinder vines. Oh, is that Weatherlight? And then it like taps and deals the damage to stuff. Send it to the Discord hockey. I can check that out real quick. Aura of Dominion. All right. All right. What do I think? What do I think? I think I like Cure's follower. Well, okay. We're already going to be highly creature centric. 1, 2, 3. I think Aura of Dominion. I like Aura of Dominion. I like these two. These two work. Maybe these three cut. This one doesn't necessarily work because like it'd be good to untap. I like Vigian Grafter because I can untap my um bigger guys too. Retreat from Coral Helm. Shoot. Some of these gotta go. All right. All right. Freed from the real Mage Rise Stone, I think goes. I like Cure's follower potentially. We'll see what the mana situation is doing. Still energy. Nature's chosen. Maybe we cut those. And then we're down to 4. That's acceptable at that point. Still plenty of cards, but we're doing all right. All right. Fastwood Hydra. Expel doubles. Whenever it dies, put the number of 1/1 counters equal to the number of 1/1 counters on any number of creatures you control. So you're splitting those up when it dies. Not too bad. It's kind of growing what's going on. The crowd goes wild. Each creature with a 1/1 counter gains trample, and then you can put 1/1 counters on stuff. Solidarity of Heroes doubles the amount of 1/1 counters on creatures, and then you can, but just individually. So 2, 2, 2, 2, 2 for each one that you want. Hydra's Growth. You can put a 1/1 counter on the creature it goes on, and then whenever at the beginning of upkeep, double the number of 1/1 counters on a enchanted creature. Gets big. Bramblewood Paragon. Creatures with 1/1 counters. They have trample. Herald of Secret Streams. 1/1 counter creatures can't be blocked. Luxio or Giada's Gift. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each counter on it. And then everything else I don't really care about. I don't think I need the creatures to get bigger, so we can probably cut that here. We don't have many planeswalkers either. The Ozolith. Whenever a creature you control leaves the battlefield, if it had counters on it, put those counters on the Ozolith, and then you can put the counters on here to something else at the beginning of it's good. It's going in here. Hadana's Climb. At the beginning of your turn, put a 1/1 counter. If it has 3 or more, you get to flip it, and the flip is add 1 mana of any color, or pay 3, tap it. Target creature you control gains flying and gets +X/+X, where X is its power. So they get bigger. Big gets bigger. Tanazir Quandrix. When it ETBs, double the number of 1/1 counters on target creature you control, and then whenever it attacks, you may have the base power and toughness of other creatures you control become equal to Tanzir's power and toughness until end of turn. So turns everything to 4/4s plus 1/1 counters on it. We'll see. That's probably too much. I can just say it's too much right now. Hardened scales, they'd all come in with another 1/1 counter. Magus would create, two 1/1 counters, bunch of 1/1 counter synergies here. It works. Branching evolution is if one or more 1/1 counters would be put on a creature you control, twice that many 1/1 counters would be put on that creature instead. So doubling the size of Hydras. Oh, I kind of like that. Hindervines. All right. Let me quick check that out. Okay, so that's from a Ravnica. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn by creatures with no 1/1 counters on them. I'll screenshot that. I'll see if that has a spot somewhere in here. Thank you for the suggestion, Mr. Hockey. All right, Unbound Flourishing. Whenever you cast a permanent spell with mana cost X, double the value of X. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell or activated ability of that spell's mana cost, or activate an ability, if that spell's mana cost or that ability's activation cost contains X, copy that spell or ability. You may choose new targets for the copy. So this is crazy in here. Primal Vigor and Doubling Season. But if one or more tokens would be created, twice that many of those tokens are created instead. So big creatures are created, make another one of them, and then whenever one or more 1/1 counters would be put on that creature, twice that many 1/1 counters would be put on that creature instead. So hopefully you don't get overrun. That's always been my fear with Primal Vigor, but people like it. And same thing with Doubling Season. So it works here. And then Vorinclex would double the amount of counters on your creatures coming into play. And then if an opponent would put one or more permanents or play, they put half as many each of those kinds of counters of that permanent or player instead. So um maybe let's just cut Vorinclex right now. I think I'd rather play the doublings, and we have those other 3 mana X spells importance. So Errant Street Artist. It has Flash, Defender, Haste. You can pay 2, tap it, copy target spell you control that wasn't cast. You may choose new targets for the copy. So making copies of the copies that Magus make. I think I don't think that's gonna work. I think I'd rather play those 5 mana dealies because they'll just do a bit more. Twinning Staff, same thing, just for free. We'll cut that as well. I think we're just going to go towards some of those other things. The first Tyrannics War. So X spells or X spell creature gets for as much land as you have in a play, and double the number of counters on each creature or on target creature you control. So works here. Soul Foundry. Give me a second. Five copies of the Ozolith in there? No, I mean I only own 2 Ozoliths. And then clearly there's only gonna need to be 1. So Soul Foundry has an X in the ability. I don't think I'm gonna do it because it's not very good with the Hydra style cards. Strionic Resonator, copy target triggered ability you control, which is the copying part. No, I wasn't pissing. I was blowing my nose and getting a drink and coughing and stuff like that. So not as glamorous as going and taking a piss. Resonator's copying the Magus doubling trigger. So I'd rather do that. And then it just applies to a lot of other things too. Hydra Broodmother X in the activated ability makes a bunch of big hydras, and then you get to double that. So probably cool. One with the Kami 4 mana enchantment aura. Whenever enchanted creature or another modified creature you control dies, create X 1/1 colorless spirit creature tokens, where X is the creature's power. And so this can create a lot of tokens potentially. Tervigon, Expel, Ravenous, Trample. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, create that many 1/1 Tyrannid tokens. So creating an army behind it. Uh Termagant Swarm, Ravenous. Whenever it dies, create a number of 1/1 green Tyrannid creature tokens equal to its power. So another one making an army behind it. Hooded Hydra is doing the same thing, but with snakes. And then Iridescent Horn Beetle, 5 mana. At the beginning of your end step, create a 1/1 green insect creature token for each 1/1 counter you've put on creatures under your control this turn. That works for Hydras and every Expel thing that we're working with here. That's going to make an army behind it as well. Orochi Hatchery, XX, can be doubled up. And then you can pay 5 to put a bunch of green snakes into play for as many charge counters are on it. I am going to cut this. It's just not what's going on in the deck, right? Mecha Godzilla Battle Fortress Expel. It's really just Hangerback Walker. But when it dies, put a bunch of 1/1 Thopters into play, and you can keep on putting 1/1 counters on it. So it potentially is there. Animation module. Whenever you put a 1/1 counter on a creature, you can pay one or more. Pay one, make a little creature, create a counter on target permanent or player. Give that permanent or player another counter of that kind. So, just making little creatures. Simic Ascendancy, basically there to say at the beginning of your upkeep, if Simic Ascendancy has 20 or more growth counters on it, you win the game. And then whenever one or more 1/1 counters are put on a creature you control, put that many growth counters on Simic Ascendancy. So, it's a way to win the game if you're kind of locked out. Reap of the Past. Return X cards at random from your graveyard to your hand. Exile Reap of the Past. Just this for 2, copying it. So paying 4 to get 4 cards back randomly from your graveyard is not a bad thing, and it scales quite nice. Evolution Sage, Landfall, Proliferate. Pollen Bright Druid. When ETBs proliferate, I'm gonna cut that. I really don't need that type of proliferate. I might be all right with that one. And then Sword of Truth and Justice, 1/1 counters on a creature when it deals damage, and then proliferate, pro white and blue. It has some potential. Merfolk Skydiver there for the proliferate. We'll cut that. We don't want that right now either. Protein Hydra, just a big double major make the cut. I don't even know if I know what that is. Double major? No. I see what you're saying though. It's kind of like a little bit of a backup. Instant speed, copy target creature spell you control, except it isn't legendary if the spell is legendary. I see what you're saying, but no. Probably a decent backup. All right. Protein Hydra. It's a big one. Whenever it deals damage, you take those 1/1 counters off, and then you put twice as many on later on. It's just a big beater. I'm not going to be playing those. Fractal Harness also just is kind of a big beater. We get rid of it. Colonial Hydra, whenever it attacks, double the amount of 1/1 counters on it. We will keep that. Avatar of the Resolute. It's an instant, but Probably not. I'll take a screenshot just as a thought. Avatar of the Resolute. Put 1/1 counters on it equal to the number of 1/1 counters you have. Just a big beater. So we'll get rid of that. Managorgia Hydra, also just a big beater. Primordial Hydra is a big beater, but it keeps on getting doubled. That one might make it. Clown Car. A fucking Crew 2. I'm not even going to talk about it. I don't want to do that. Stone Coil Serpent Expel can be doubled. It's just a big beater, and so we will get rid of it. Alter, let's go. Savage Born Hydra, Double Strike, Expel. You can put 1/1 counters on it, but in the end, it's just a big beater. And then Altered Ego it's a clone with an Expel on it. Copy it. Not too bad. Let's kind of go back. Let's look through this group and I think the 1/1 counters, we could probably cut that. We already have 2 trample givers, but this is a one-off. Adds counters. I don't hate it. Red Fireball expels. No, I passed through that already. You were not paying attention. That's okay. Bramblewood, Ozolith, Danis Climb. These are the 2 that I really want in here because they're fairly unique, and we'll keep those as well. Makes an army, 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 makes an army. Probably too slow, but probably okay too. Evolution stage we can cut. After I was thinking about the proliferate part, I'm just like, these things should be huge to whereas like proliferation doesn't really matter. And so I should think that way. I can cut the sword as well. Primordial Hydra is sweet. I should go through that one again. So at the beginning of your upkeep, double the number of 1/1 counters on Primordial Hydra. And then if it has 10 or more, it has trample. And so it's just going to be huge. Basically, the turn that it attacks, both of them are going to have trample. What? God damn it. God of War Ragnarok? Are you playing? Are you playing right now? So we didn't do too bad. Got a handful of cards cut here. Those were all cut right off the bat. Should have probably figured out how many cards we were starting with. But let's oh, you're playing it. You're playing and listening. Pay attention to me. We'll go in CMC order here and just see what everything is looking like. I haven't played video games in forever. There's at least a 3, 4, 3, 2s. That'll be big. So this is going to be kind of a fucked up curve. I didn't even think about that. Okay. So I think we'll do guesstimation on where I would want to play it. So this is at least at that 3 spot, clearly. 2, 1, 2, 3. I probably want this at that 6 spot. You're my only fan? You getting naked? There's 4 people watching right now. We'd want that at least to be 6 as well. I want those at 6s. Doot, doot, doo, doo. That'd be a 5. Want that higher. Is that at least a 3? Is this OnlyFans? No, it's not. It's not. We'll get rid of the proliferate here. We don't need that. Draw. Home. I mean, nah. No, I don't have the room down here for an OnlyFans. Just ain't gonna work, folks. I'm sorry. By 6. This needs to be higher. 2, 5, 6, 7. Thursday. It's Thursday Thursdays. The other thing that I didn't think about, and I don't think it really works, but Ozolith with these legends, the second legend would go away, get the counters on it, I believe. That'd be interesting. Silk Guard can just be 1, 3, 4. Do I really need that? That's probably just a 4. Can get 6 that way. 2, 2, 1, 2, 5, 3, 2, 2. That's probably a 4 as well. 5. That's probably a 6. That's higher. Ravenous, I probably want to be hitting over just so I'm drawing. That's probably there. 3. Here's my X spells. I just have the 3. And those just as big as possible. 6, 3. I guess there was another one. Shh. I want this to be at least. Walking Ballista is just too much mana, right? Let's keep it around for a little bit. Nothing crazy with it. That's a little bit the problem. We'll cut Walking Ballista. I don't think it's going to do enough here. Oh, Ravenous. Ravenous. Big as we want. 2, 3s. 2. That's probably a 5. 2, 1. That one can be at least 4. 5, 6. 7. That's a 4. 2, 5, 5. 3, 1. 1, 4, 2, 2. That's technically just a 1. At least a 6, 5. Be a 7. Probably put that at being the 7. All right. Plenty to cut here. We're at 1 hour. Yeesh. What are we? 10, 11. All right. We'll go at least for another hour. Plenty here to work off of. Let's go with the little ones first. Crowd Goes Wild is giving trample, potentially some 1/1s. Ozolith is definitely in. I think Hardened Scale has some good work to do. Do I care about animation module is the question. I don't know if I care about this either. Let's cut those for now. A little bit of protection with the 1/1 counter. Silk Guard is hexproof protection. Yeah. Magus is going to be crazy. Birds, Soul Ring. And so the question ends up being, do I want a looter? Not really. You can get rid of that. Not really is the answer. All right. Doubling the meow. The meow. Settle down, meow. Doubling counters at instant speed is pretty nice. Bramblewood Paragon. I don't think I have many warriors, but just paying 2 to give most of my big stuff trample is not a bad thing. Did I just cut that other thing that gave trample for a turn? Yeah. All right. We'll keep that around too. We'll keep that. And I think we'll end up cutting the 4 mana one. Trionic Resonator works here. Nice little win con with Ascendancy. Yeah. Heroic Intervention for the protection. I like both of those almost always. Teferi's Veil is decent idea. Spellskite to keep those counters around. Mana Drain. Draw spell. Land. Do I? Yeah. That'll do some work. Bloom Tender. I think will be. I think that's something that we could potentially get rid of with the other creatures that are giving mana. So let's cut Bloom Tender. Ordeal of Nylea. Nexos, Biophagus, Incubation Druid, Rattleclaw, and Arcane Signet. Ugh. Let's see here. First off, let's keep track of what we're cutting this round. I think we can cut Rattleclaw Mystic because we have plenty, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that are just like on theme rather just on color. So we'll cut the Rattleclaw Mystic. I like the ordeals in here. Drawing 2 pretty quick and easy. Gyre Sage, Nature's Lore, Farseek. Yes, I do have Mana Drain. Better than Counterspell, right? Zemic Guildmage, Mana Drain, Spellskite, Teferi's Veil, Swiftfoot Boots. No, I'm not doing lots of that. Like there are the X-Spell like counterspells like Power Sync, but like doubling up on counterspells, I don't know. I don't know how into that I am. I just I think we're gonna cut the things that just untap one creature. Like Cura's Follower is nice because you can untap a land or a creature or a huge thing. Like it's just versatile. One more time through. Zemic, Mana Drain. Yep. All right. On to 3. All right. That 3 spot. Make it real aggressive. Which is doubling up counters. Adonis Climb, Unbound Flourishing. Like these 2 just have to go in here. Otherwise, they don't work anywhere else. So they're going in. I think we can cut Coral Helm Retreat. I still like the Vigian Graft Mage. Do you know what? There's a frog that gives hexproof to 1/1 counters from the original Ravnica block. I didn't grab it, so I don't know. Chaos Warp, Beast Within. Generally, like if I have one, I want the other anyway. Invigorating Hot Springs is just going to be given haste. Same thing with Rhythm of the Wild and protection there. Inspiring Call, Bread for the Hunt, Kiora, Teamer. I'm sure Renshai's poops are very aggressive. Sage of Fables is drawing cards. Ingenious Mastery. The Mana Rig I think the mana rig is cool. It's just paying 3 to get like 2 cards. I need to pay 6. Look at the top X cards of your library. Put 2 of them into your library in your hand. So you pay 1 or 3, you get to look at 1 and put it into your hand essentially. So you want to do 6 to get 2, double that for 4. I don't think I'm multicolored enough. The mana rig is gonna go. Damn it. Damn it. We could probably get rid of Cafu later, a layer 2, because other opponents can draw off of that. I'd rather have Savala. Kadama, the West Tree is going to be probably pretty good. Fertile Did's pretty cool. Stirp installed in the toilet for your poops. That is aggressive. End up like Jeff Bridges in Dumb and Dumber on that toilet scene. Woofta. Woofta. Like cutting the poop on the toilet. I can tell that you were traumatized by that story, huh? Haste, haste, everything has haste. Kiora. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. All right, I think I'm all right with this for now. Did I not cut? Okay. All right. Doing all right. Doing all right. 4 spot. Again, this is like trample, but I almost want trample. So unblockable. I don't know how much I care about the unblockableness at 4. But it's a good card here, right? So 1 with the Kami is cool. Just whenever enchanted creature or another modified creature you control dies, create X/1/1 colorless spirit creature tokens, or X, where the X is that creature's power. So if somebody wraths and this is in play, all of those 1/1 counters turn into creatures. That seems like good backup. I'm all right with that. Mecha Godzilla, that is for tokens. Pelucranos is for removing creatures. It deals X damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures your opponents control. Each of those creatures deals damage equal to its power to Pelucranos. Oh. Probably gonna kill it then. Forgot about that aspect. I wish it was fighting. But it's not. Let's get rid of Pelucranos, I guess. Might as well. Thieving Skydiver, Lanessa, March of the Swirling Mist, Spike Weaver. Yeah, and I think I said I was going to cut Zagana because I kept the other 2 tramplers. Even though I don't think this works as much, but I'd rather just have my trample enablers a lot cheaper and like drawing 1 card. If you control another creature with a 1/1 counter on a draw card. Yeah, just 1 card is not enough. So we'll cut that. Shaman seems like it's going to be great. Armorcraft Judge seems cool here. Greater Good. Harrowspecs. Roshin Meander. Whenever another creature dies, put a 1/1 counter. Just 1/1 counter on it, huh? That's probably not enough going on. We can cut that. Rampant Rejuvenator enters with 2. Whenever it dies, search your library for up to X basic land cards where X is its power. Put them on the battlefield, then shuffle. Probably doesn't matter. We can get rid of that. Then Roshin Meander is 4 to give you 4. Doing all right here. We're doing all right. All right. On to the 5 spot. Hey, Hockey, how is the God of War Ragnarok? I mean, the God of War games are freaking awesome, but I stopped at 3, I think. Stacks Pieces, Renshy? Is that what you're asking? You're thinking that Stacks Pieces could do really well here? I don't know about that. Colonial Hydra is going to be perfect. Delving Season, Primal Vigor, the first Tyrannic War. You may put a creature card from your hand on the battlefield. Hear me out. If its mana cost contains X, it enters the battlefield with a number of 1/1 counters on it equal to the number of lands you control. Yeah, double the number of each kind of counter on target creature you control, and do it again, and then get rid of it. Yeah, that seems aggressive. I like it. Iridescent Horn Beetle's gonna. That is that. Reap of the Past, getting stuff back from the graveyard, not too bad. Removing them flyers. I do not have many flyers, but that is a flyer. Protection, a little bit of jazz, traverse the outlands. I'll have to check that out. Scry and draw. They bounce, and you get a 4/4. Do it again. So for paying 5, I can scry 1, draw a card, scry 1, draw 2 cards, bounce 2 creatures, create 2 4/4s. Cut the blue, add black, make the commander Corvold. I mean, you're right. You're right when you're right. But no, that's not what we're doing. It's not going to happen. Appreciate those likes, whoever did them. No, Hockey didn't. He said he was going to, or I guess he didn't really say it, but he was in on the smash with the likes. I don't know if he did. I don't know if he did. So, boom, boom, ba, ba, ba. I don't know if there's anything. I'm not even sure why you watch. Renshy. Winged Hive Tyrant. Other creatures you control with counters on them have flying. Flying and haste. Flying and haste is kind of nice. Flying is haste. All right. I'm running with those for now. All right. 6 spot. Basswood is just putting 1/1 counters on stuff. I think we can just cut that. Cut the blue, add black, made the commander Prosh food chain for the win. All right. All right. I think you're right. I think I'm done for the night. I think we figured it out, folks. Don't build new decks. That's what you need to do. Just build menaces to your play group. All right. I'll blow a nose. All right. All right. This is kind of an army in a can. I don't blame it. Dies. Get a bunch of 1/1 counters on the play. dies, put a bunch of 1/1s into play. Force Storm Surge is direct damage, so if somebody locks me out from attacking them, I can just start pew pew. That's true. Corvold and Prosh are troublemakers. Steelbane Hydra. I do have some, removal. Voracious Hydra, Hydroid Crassus, Pull from Tomorrow, Genesis Hydra. Okay. When you cast Genesis Hydra, reveal top X cards of your library. You may put, oh, that's a cast. We'll cut that. Cast trigger. And so the copy is not cast, would not trigger that. Then I don't care. Lifeblood Hydra and Gadwick, the Wizened. I have probably enough. Um, like the instant speed there. I don't know. Hydra Broodmaster. All right. Altered Ego. Take out the green, add black, make your commander Nekosaur, proceed to piss off all the people. Yeah. Yeah, that's an option too. That's gotta be gross. We're gonna cut Altered Ego here. I mean, it's not copying the amount of 1/1 counters that are on whatever. So we'll just back it up. Primordial Hydra is just one of those big beasts. We'll put it in there. Tervagon. Let's see here, actually. Pew. All right. Whenever it deals combat damage, make an army. That part I don't necessarily care as much, but the Ravenous is nice. I give the best suggestions. Pat yourself on the back. Klaus Will is artifact enchantment removal, plus some ground removal for the little ones. Clan Defiance is going to be doing some work. Same thing with Zoanthrope. Enters the battlefield. It fights up to one target creature an opponent controls. If that creature would die this turn, exile it instead. Okay. Crackle with power. 5 times X damage to each of up to. So if I want to do just 5 damage to one creature, I'd have to pay 5. That's not good. But then if I pay 8, I can deal 5, 2, so 10 damage to 2 creatures. 2 targets. 2x targets. Okay. Yeah. Common Storm's gonna be good. Jaya, Pest Infestation, Aberrant, Kerberos makes sense to me. I don't even have to expel this other than maybe like 1, so I get 2 of them into play, and then they just sit around. I like that. Explosion makes sense to me. Bada bing, bada boom. X cards plus an additional card for each time they've cast a commander from the command zone this game. I think we can cut that. Animus Awakening has some potential, and the Great Henge. My problem, and I should probably. What is this going to do for me? If you're running a lot of basics, like I think this card is great for you, but I run 12, which is enough. But what am I going to be doing? Am I going to be paying like 5 to look at top 8 cards and put any of them into play? Like how many basics am I going to hit there? A couple, but paying 5 for that just is not worth it, more than likely. So we cut that many on that round. Not too bad. Yeah, I Expansion Explosion is such an awesome card. Fantastic. I have it in Calmax and it's just almost like a game ender. All right. Fine with that. We're doing all right. Da, da, da. Do, do, do. Oh, what is that? Hold on. I mean, the Ravenous would be nice, but all right. We'll break this up into types. This is where we're at right now. Still plenty of cards. Creature. And then we'll just see. We're probably going to be creature heavy. I mean, we should be. I would be surprised otherwise. But that's kind of the deal. I mean, if you have infinite mana, I don't think I've ever gone accidental infinite. Oh, and Calmax with the copying part. Yeah, that's kind of true. I almost never think about the copying part. It's always drawing cards. Always drawing cards. I love drawing cards. It's so good. I guess I do have a planeswalker. It doesn't have a permanent. Oh, that's actually fantastic in here. Lots of enchantments. We'll see if those make it. Yeah, copying counter spells is not a bad deal. Either like copying your own to make sure it happens with a counterspell war, or um just being able to stop somebody else. I do not have Banefire. I was not thinking it was versatile enough, and I probably agree with what I was thinking beforehand. So I don't necessarily care about the counterspell. Like if somebody gets me, they get me. Um, but this isn't really a burn deck. That's kind of my thought there. I've never really been a fan of um Banefire, but I see why people like it. I get it. Rather play like Crackle of Power, Comet Storm, Fall of Titans, Jaya's Infernal, blah blah blah. These Tiger Sleeves are too wizard like, just knocking cards around. Sorceries, instant, and an aura. All right, still like that. I'll probably keep that. I think hitting that is that's a huge game right there. Not a lot of artifacts. Wow. Traverse. Multiple choice is weird. Okay, so I like my removal. I want to try Crackle of Power. Let's see here. Natures. Oh, I don't even have like a 3 visits in here though. Should probably get 3 visits. Boom. So I could just pay 2 to like scry 1, draw. And then if I'm just tacking that on, I can scry and draw again. If I'm paying 3 mana, I mean, that's versatile. I kind of like that. Like that. Bring back, ingenious. Yeah. All right. I don't dislike any of those at this point. Enchantments. One with Kami, or Storm Surge, Primal Vigor, Doubling Season, the first, or Mhm, mhm. Alright, so the question ends up being, I don't know if Hydra's growth is good enough in here. Fury, Ordeal, Hardened Scales. Yeah, well, you will cut Hydra's growth because it just affects one creature. So that part, not as fantastic. Let's do the artifacts here. Great Henge, Astral, Elemental, Palette. Ozolith, bop, bop, bop. Yeah. Like are all the artifacts there. Not getting rid of a lot of stuff here. Change of plans. So we have 3 phasing things to help protect me, but also the cool thing about the phasing bits is they allow you to get other people's creatures if you're trying to like alpha struck them a bit. So it's not a bad deal that way either. Not a bad deal. Mhm. I like Solidarity Heroes. Silk Guard. Oh boy. Oh boy. All right. Remove a 1/1 counter from Kerbis. Prevent all damage that would be dealt this turn to another target creature with a 1/1 counter on it. Let's see here. All right. I like the card. X damage to any target. Fighting. Leaving an army. Army. I think I just like those better than this. We'll cut Hydra Broodmother. Primordial Hydra. Yeah. Dealing damage, leaving blockers, which is kind of nice. I like the Hydroid Crassus. Voracious. Steelbane. Colonial. Gadwick. Lifeblood. Iridescent Hornbeetle. That'll just be crazy. Winged Hive Tyrant. Haste and flying is good. I think my inclination is right. Like I don't care about the unblocked for the most part. Do I have ways of being able to deal with like little shits like an earthquake, or I don't have much gain life though. It's just kind of like a dive through. I'm right with that. All right, thieving, make an army, do some bouncing. Yeah, draw cards, draw cards. Manas, Bertledid, Fijian Graft Mage, Bramblewood, Kiora's follower, Spellskite. Probably get rid of that Kiora's. Yep. All right. Let's see where we're at, and then we'll start going over our categories again. 2, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 30. 30. 30. 101. All right. quite a bit still. I gotta work. Gotta cut down about 20 cards still. All right. That is a boost. I don't even know what we want to call this. Probably just a little draw spell. Removal. Let's draw. Doubling. Protection. Boosting. Draw. Ramp. That's a boosting. Also boosting. Tokens. Removal. Doubling. Let's get rid of these goddamn sleeves. All right. Let's play doubling. Draw, 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 draw. Haste. Haste. That's a boost. Oh, wait a second. All right, so I guess that's doubling. I guess they're all kind of just doubling, boosting, whatever it needs to be. I don't know. That's an army. We'll put the army up here. Removal. Section. This is probably just generally land. 1, 2, 3, 5. Boost. Tapping bit. Drawing. Bit of protection. Removal. Army. Army. Draw. All right. So we're down to technically 2 things that untap. So this Graft Mage and then Cura's Follower, which really is, put that in the wrong spot. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. All right, let's try and slim that down just a wee bit. I'm going to end up somewhere in between 15 and 20 there for the draw spells. Try and use cards that I don't use a lot of and won't fit places. So Shaman of the Great Hunt is going to like this. Fathom Mage, Lifeblood, Armorcraft, Sage, and Guild Mage. Pull from Tomorrow sometimes goes places. Same things with Expansion Explosion. Hydroid Crassus, Gadwick, Bred for the Hunt, Teamer, Ascendancy, Elemental. Yeah. I think I like the idea of just having Greater Good sitting out there, but I might not need to either. Kiora. I guess Kiora's an untapper as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Now, my problem here is I only have like one decent draw spell, and that's Sensei's doing up because everything else needs a setup. Um, and even before those two cards were there, like needed the setup. So 1, 2, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. All right. We will cut greater good, pull from tomorrow, expansion explosion at this point, and relatively happy with my draw package. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20, 21, 22. I want to get my 3 wishes in there if I can. Let's see if I just have it. Let's see here. Just my stack of cards that I need to put away. There we go. There we go. So 23 cards. And I think we go with, is there anything else? Anything that just looks like it needs to go? Magus. Let's just cut Arcane Signet. Got a lot of 2-spot creatures. Palette, Astral Cornucopia, Traverse the Outlands. Might be able to just cut Traverse the Outlands. I think it's good. I think it's clearly good. It's a good card. Gonna have a lot of big creatures, but I don't think truly need it. At least my mana's on par here. Like it's cheap enough. All right, we'll cut Traverse the Outlands as well. So that's 2. So we're still high, but 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. All right. Let's go through that maybe one more time. Still Dig, Kiora, Animar, Roshin Meander, Silvala, Hurdle did, Sporocyst. There's no way that the Ravenous happens here. Unless I'm doubling stuff. Because like 11 to get Ravenous is crazy. Okay. Dama, Incubation Druid still makes a ton of sense. Nexos, Biophage. Spent to cast a creature spell. That creature enters the battlefield. Gyre Sage. All right. Right now we're keeping those. Removal. Where are we at? 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. That is plenty. All right, I have a feeling we're going to really have to notch it down as the boosting, but protection and then boosting. Let's do removal first. Let's see what we need to do. I like Silk Lash. I like Thieving Skydiver. Get rid of these 2. just because I put them in every deck at this point. So Lanessa, I still like this idea. I can potentially untap it, do it again. All right. Klaus Will kind of works here. There's a little bit of a Wrath. Fall of the Titan. Maybe I don't care about Fall of the Titan. 2 target creatures and or players. Doubling that. That's not a bad thing. Comet Storm, Aberrant, Zoanth. Yeah, yeah. Do I care about the Warstorm Surge? I do have the X spells. So I have. Hey, thanks, Curtis. Thanks for joining too. Appreciate it, man. I think I can cut Warstorm Surge just because I have a couple of direct damage spells. So I think Warstorm Surge would end the game pretty quick, but it's kind of like a dead card a little bit. I'd rather play the X spells. Maybe that's what I'm saying. Bada bing, bada boom. Up to X targets. All right. Pest Infestation, Jai's Immolating Glare. Cast a legendary sorcery only if you control a legendary creature or planeswalker. Does X damage if up to 3 targets. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15. I don't hate it. All right. Cut 3. Not feeling too bad. All right. Let's take a look at these armies in a can a little bit. All right. Iridescent Horn Beetle is going to create a ton. It's at 5 and needs something else to work. That's a little bit of the problematic thing here. Put a bunch of counters on him, but it's not as efficient as something like Hooded Hydra, one with the Kami, Termagant Storm. And so what am I looking for here? Like aggressiveness or death? I think I'd rather I still like this over this. Like dealing the damage creates a lot of blockers. I need something else. I need this to be able to. This has the potential for Ravenous. It has Trample. One with the Kami. I don't have many untapping things at this point, but is that what I'm saying? Is that what I'm saying? I'm saying? I like the Ravenous here. Battlefield with X11 counters on it. This creates flyers. So I think we get the Horn Beetle out of here. And I think it feels weird to get rid of that. But I think the problem with this is the double X spell. Like having 2 of them come into play. What would I rather have? So I like one with the Kami, and I like Termagant Swarm. I think those both make it. I think I'm fine with that. All right. Are these 2 just cut? So we just have 1, 2 that create it off of death, and 1 that hits it. Kind of want to be aggressive. So this right here, let's cut these 2. Let's cut them. Feeling bad. Let's cut them. All right. Abilities here. You don't have Walking Ballista, then you take out Hangerbach Walker as well. Why do you think that, Renshy? Do you think they're like My problem so here's my thought process between Walking Ballista. Yeah, and that's so this deck is essentially creature based, right? And that's what's gonna happen, and they're not little, and so people are gonna have to wrath to kinda get me under control, and so my thought process is with something like Termagant Swarm or one with the Kami, um, if they wrath, I have an army left over. And sometimes that works to where I was like, where you're saying like Hooded Hydra is just a big beater until somebody kills it. I'll have two of them. So it's kind of like it's a do nothing. And I got rid of Greater Good, I think. I think I cut that. Whoops. And so let's see if I did or not. Um, maybe I still have it. I already kind of went through that. Give me a second. Did I keep Greater Good? I get rid of it. I got rid of Greater Good. So if I had kept it, then I'd have like a sack outlet or two. But I'm worried about getting wrath. But I guess, all right, this is a good question. We should get rid of that. I still think I like one with Kami, but technically, I think I can cut both of these. Um, because I should have enough protection, right? I should have the protection to be able to just start mauling people and opening up. All right, I'm right with that thought. Herald of the Secret Streams, unblockable, trample. That's doubling, doubling. That's just kind of a win con. These 3, 4 definitely make it. That's trample. More counters. Technically something very similar. There. Do I care about this one? It's flying, gets yada yada. I think I cut Life's Legacy from this, but I definitely have Ozolith in there. I think Life's Legacy is the one that's a sorcery, 2 mana, sacrifice a creature, draw cards to the power. Um, yeah, if that's the case, I did cut it. I'm gonna cut Hadana's Climb. I mean, like, it's just affecting one creature. It's not. I think it's too slow. Well, we'll cut that. Um, so the question ends up being like trample, indestructible. Yeah, I ended up cutting it. Like, I'm not looking to get rid of something I put a lot of mana into, if that makes sense. Greater Good in that sense could have stayed. Um, but I ended up cutting that as well. And so I just have like a lot of ETB enchantments right now for the draws. We'll see if it gets me there. I might need a little bit more setup, but I'll figure that out once I sleeve up the deck and play it through a little bit just to see where the smoothness is. I just don't maybe as a finisher, but I have the X like the red X spells as a finisher, right? And so I think I'd rather go with those over a creature that isn't good all the time, if that makes sense. Um, so unblockable, trample, doubling, but doubling the amount of creatures. Um, I like them all. How often I'm sure it is. It's a combo finisher with a handful of cards. So you're not wrong. It's just I just don't think it's gonna be I don't think it's gonna have enough oomph in this deck anyway. Um, so all right. This is the hard question. I don't know because I have these over here, right? All right. We'll do Simic Ascendancy. That works. Doubling the 1/1 counters that go on creatures, doubling the X spells, the Ozolith. Those are in. I think I like the idea of doubling season and primal vigor, but at the same time, they're expensive. And I might just be happy with the double because these work either way. I got rid of a lot of the creature tokens other than what Magus is doing here. Maybe this would be too dependent on Magus because doubling the counters on it, I got cheaper stuff. Okay. I think just the expensive part of this and not really a creature token deck, more of a counter deck. I'd rather have Strionic. I could probably cut that too. Like it's good. Yeah. Triggered ability. I probably have enough triggered abilities like to make that worth keeping in. Um so I like these three at this point. Like I said, like the deck is fat. So the question ends up being like let's see here. Oh, the saga, put a creature card from your hand, and then if it has X in it, put 1/1 counters on it equal to the land you control, and then double the number of counters on each creature, target creature you control, do it again. And so plenty of X creature spells in here to make it work. Um, plus it's kind of on theme. Double double. So we're doubling it there. Got rid of the other doubling season. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool for sure. I think I think this might just be overkill with the doubling of counters. It's really weird. I feel like the Colonia Hydra should do some really good work here. I think I'd rather have just like the trample indestructible and um maybe cut this. Crowd goes wild and just go Bramblewood Paragon, Herald of Secret Stream for unblockable and trample. Works enough in my mind. Oh, it's starting to get down to a decent size now. They must have. Yeah, okay. There's the greater good. We got a good section here that we're cutting. All right, let's look at the smaller one. All right, cards from graveyard to hand. Just a huge primordial hydra, doubling every time. So that's already doubling as well. Do I care about that part? Probably not. Let's cut that. Yeah, it's just a big beater, right? That's all it is. Tap target creature with a 1/1 counter on it. I'm okay with that idea. Return those creatures. Creatures with counters have flying and haste. That seems solid. Spike Weaver, always able to just have a um, fog on hand sitting there. Can be pretty brutal. Okay, so this is protection, right? All right. So Spellskite, Spike Weaver, Winged Hive Tyrant is there for the flying haste. Let's see what else there for the haste. So we have it's phasing, indestructible, hexproof. Haste. Phasing. This is prevent all damage that would be dealt this turn to another creature. I think I probably don't care about that. Like, unless somebody sneaks in a death touch or something, that part doesn't necessarily care. All right, boots, graves, and then these 3 hasty beasts. Adds 1/1 counters, which I like. Flying and haste. I like the idea of the 1/1 counter on there too. Yeah. Maybe what we should do. I think we cut Herald of the Streams. Yeah. Now, see, here's a weird thought, and I don't know if this makes a ton of sense, but I would rather want trample for 2 because they would block and still take damage, and they'll lose creatures and resources and stuff like that, over a Herald of Secret Streams at 4. Because I can lay this down and it's just gonna happen, and this, I'm gonna probably wanna wait until I kinda have a kill strike on it, and also if I lay it down, they're not losing resources, the crackback can be a little bit worse. I think this at 2 is probably just better than this at 4, so let's cut that, and then the other thought that I'm having is, like, it's probably competing with the Winged Hive Tyrant, which is at 5. So which one would I rather have here? Unblockable or flying in haste? Probably the haste is huge here because I'm putting out big creatures, and the flying is evasion as well. And this can just kind of sit out there. It's also potentially aggressive. So I think I'd rather like this fits in between the two, and I'd rather just have 2, maybe even 1, but I'll stick with 2 for now. And I really like the idea of haste in this deck because they're huge, they're big. The next question ends up being, all right, I like Mana Drain here. Spellskite is always fantastic. Spike Weaver, how bad is my crackback going to be? All right, we're at 2 hours. Still a long way to go. So I'll at least be going until 11:30. Spike Weaver is still cool. We'll keep it for now. All right, indestructible, and so that can just be hexproof, indestructible, indestructible, and hexproof. It's not everything. Everything. I'd rather have that. Could probably get slip the back out as cut. I like the idea of Teferi's Veil. And I like that's the other thing. These 2 can remove your opponent's creatures to get on through. So that's something that I like as well. So right now we're talking about having like what are we doing? Help my stuff get through. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's more of just I think indestructible, indestructible, indestructible. That doesn't really work. All right, for now. All right. Cut another handful, which is not bad. Hopefully, we're down in the 80s. 30. 30. 19. So we're at 79. Not too bad. All right. Let's see here. 79. 79. Starting to fit in my hands all right. What's the next bit that we do? We just did that. Okay, let's go to our curve and see where we're at. That's technically a 5. This at worst it's like 3. 3, 3, 3. We have a lot at 3. That's just maxed out. We'll just anything that I just want to dump mana into. We'll just consider that maxed out. So 4 mana to draw a bunch of cards, maybe. That's gonna be a problem. That's gonna be a problem. Probably all right. That's something that we want to dump into. Ravenous. Toot. Toot. It's a 4. Also likely a 4. 2, 3, 4, 3. 2, 2, 2, 1. 3s. I got worst. I want that to be a 4. That could just be a 1, 2. Probably 5. That's probably a 4. Twos. It's probably a 6. I don't think this is going to work very well. I like the idea of it, but like 3 mana or 2 mana to untap something, like untapping Magus to 2 to get 2 back, but for the copy, I think it's probably just too much work. We could cut that. All right, 5 spot, 2, 1, 1, 3s, 2, 4, lots, and then this by 5, lots and lots. All right, pretty heavy in the 2s and 3s, which is not bad, and then we have a lot in the X spot, which are flexible, but we want that flexibility down here. Like it's fine if we cast them at a lower cost. So I'm going to go and see if I can redistribute some of these bigger X spells and see if they're like, yep, that makes sense here. So most of them end up at the 6 spot, which is whatever, I guess. But like if it was 4 damage to a flyer, a non-flyer, and a player, would I be happy? Probably, and do it again. So that at 6 is not bad. This is just an expensive card that's happening. Jaya's Immolating Inferno needs a legend. I don't know how many legends I have, actually. Not a lot, so I need Magus out. All right. The Great Henge, I think, has a really good shot, but I just keep that high almost all the time. Klaus will. So if this was just 3, would I be upset? Not necessarily. Like, paying 6 to destroy 6 artifacts and enchantments and potentially 6 damage to the ground. That's also a wrath. Like, I don't think I like it at 6. Probably not. Fall of the Titan is here for the surge, and Comet Storm need that to be high. This one is probably like I want it to be 5, 6, 7. So there. Same thing with the Zone of Thorpe. Lifeblood Hydra probably is at a 7, so that I'd put that above 6. Would I be happy with this at 6? Yes. Would I be happy at this at 6? So draw 3, 6 cards. Yeah, I'd be happy with that as well. And Jaya's Immolating Inferno is handicapping it pretty strong. I'm going to get rid of that just in case. I don't know if I really want that. I might only have like one more legendary creature. That's one. So if people start aiming for Magus, one, you just don't want dead cards in your hand. I know I got one more here. 2, 3. Forgot about that one. And then I think we're getting out of the legendary creature spots. So we have 3. Oh, 4. Look at me. 5, 6. Might still have a spot. I'm okay with that. Mm-hmm. So 6. I don't dislike it. All right, we're at 78. Oh, your voice is so soothing that I'm starting to doze off. Good luck with it. Thanks, Renshai. Hopefully you have a good night. All right, man. Thanks for joining. All right. So we're still kind of high at this spot. I like. Is that really a draw card? That's trample, though. Trample's nice. I should check on how many creatures actually have trample. Like, then I don't need flying, trample. Might be able to just cut the Bramblewood Paragon. This doesn't get any counters, but it's drawing the cards that counts. Okay. Trample does not have trample. Does have trample. Nope. Let's see here. That is flying. Kills flying. Oh, that's a good point. Gives flying, kills flying. Maybe that doesn't matter. Maybe that doesn't matter. I don't think I care. We're gonna cut Spike Weaver. I think we can potentially do that. Does not what I just want. And that's flying. Haste. Plenty of creatures that give haste. Or have haste. You know what? I think that's a good point. I think we cut Winged Hive Tyrant because I'd rather have Silklash Spider, which is weird to say. That card seems sweet. Me? I'm not even close. My 79, 78, 77, 76. 76 cards. So if I can get down in the 60s, I might be able to do that. 15 more minutes, and then I'll start thinking about going to bed. All right. Unbound flourishing. Yep, 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 yep. Haste, haste. Blop, blop, blop. Follow heart with me. No. You had your chance. You blew it. You blew it. All right. Animar, Sage. Yeah, all of these seem good. Might actually cut this one. Man, I'm cutting a lot of. Gotta look at the variable parts. All right. That makes sense. Strionic Resonator is dope. Spellskite, Bramblewood. I think I can cut Bramblewood actually too. So we don't really have any other like boosters. There's no tramplers, no unblockable, no flying haste. We just have haste, bashing in, and having people scared out of their mind. I think this is probably a good way to keep things from getting wrathed. Fairy's Veil. I like that idea. Druid, Nexus, Gyre Sage. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Two, three, four, five, six, seven. All right. I think we're there. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we should be down to 75. Got about 13 more to cut. Let's see here. And I think I'm all right. Am I doing this all the fuck out of order? Yeah. Shuffle this up a little bit. I go back to card types and just check that over one more time. What I want to do. Okay. Haste. Yeah. Land. Manas. That's like a doubling. Bit of protection. I don't have either in here at this point, so I do have top. I do have top. Removal. Let's technically draw. Probably get. I've wanted to play with Lifeblood for a very long time, but it just I don't know if it's gonna work here. Haste, removal. That is mana, 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 removal. We'll consider that. We'll consider that actually ramp in this deck. Let's think about it like that. Let's draw, protect, remove, protect. Yeah. Da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da. Hmm. Just slowly cutting down the categories here. Let's see here. I like the idea of Strionic Resonator still. Copy some ETBs. The 2 mana might not be something that I'm interested in, but We'll see how fast it is. Um, yeah. All right. Ozolith, Hardened Scales, Unbound Flourishing, Branching Evolution, the First Tyrannic War, Simic Ascendancy. Do I care about that? Yeah, I like that one too. All right, protection. We are at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11, 12. Let's cut. Change of plans. Let's cut that. I probably am all right with it. I just don't necessarily like want to connive, like draw discard. I don't have much there for it. 1, 2. Maybe I want to be cutting Spellskite right now too. Let's cut Spellskite. It's fantastic. It's so good. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But I have enough that's kind of on theme with counters and X spells that I'd rather just have the Boots and Greaves for the haste part. Six. We'll have to do a recount on this. All right. Removal. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Clan, Lanessa, Spider, Pest, Crackle for Moogs, Aberrant was good. Klaus Will is probably solid. Fall of the Titans, Jaya's Immolating Glare. Is that something that I want to cut down on and just do like Comet Storm, Crackle, and Defiance for like direct damage? I mean, I like the idea of these guys. This is any target as well. Bada bing, bada boom, bada bing, bada boom. We'll cut those two as well. It's probably a fairly good removal spell though. Like these two, I'm just trying to go over the top with it at that point. Klaus Will. How many artifact enchantments do I have? Two. A creature. Turn target creature. Okay, so it's not a permanent, which is aight. Boom. That is not enough? Question mark. That is creature. Well, that's anything, but creature, 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 and kind of anything. I want to get rid of Klaus Will. Is that something that I'm interested in? I think I'd rather get rid of Lanessa. I've never considered her for a deck, but I don't think she's necessarily there. I'd rather have Klaus Will with the artifacts and enchantments, and then I have 5. I'm much happier messing around with this at that point. So artifacts, creatures, along with just bashing in, and then that. Okay. 3, 7. That's 12. I'm right with that. See where we're at for drawing. 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Probably fine with it. I'll probably have to lower this curve just to make sure like the deck works. Mm-hmm. Da, 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 da. 17. Okay. 1, 2, land or ramp. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 22. All right. So we definitely got to cut back on that. That's decently high because I got high. Because I got high. Four, 3, 3, and 3. All right. I like the Great Henge. I like that. Roshin Meander. I think it does a lot of work in here. Only to cast that contain X. So I go 4 mana to 8 mana plus whatever I play. I think that works here. Yeah. It's Fertile did. All right. So Vala. Yep. We go 1. Plenty in this 2 spot. Tons of mana acceleration at this 2 spot. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think we can cut Fertile did. I like a couple sorceries here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I still like the untapping. 1, 2, 3. Is Gyre Sage worth the spot? Because it doesn't give me mana until whenever the next creature comes into play. That's bigger. Magus would not trigger Gyre Sage. It probably gets clunky. Well, we can cut that. 1 mana, basic lands. Creatures come into play with that. I'm all right with that. Yep. Let's see. 1, 2. Ugh. Down at 20. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 20. All right. So technically, we're probably 68. Technically at 68 right now. I mean, ramp is not awful by any means. Like, I need ramp in this kind of deck because I want those creatures to be big. All right, let's see where we're at. Probably a final count, and then I'm gonna give up. Not give up, but go to bed. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 30. 30. 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, we are at 68. Um, I will be running roughly 37, 38 land, and so I want to get to roughly 62, 63. That means 5 more cuts. You don't need to see me agonizing through this. If you enjoyed this, please hit the like button. If you are not subscribed, please subscribe. That would be greatly appreciated. Trying to get to 1,000 here, like I talked about at the beginning. Um, if you enjoyed this, we try and do this, build decks or, update decks with new cards acquired. Every Thursday night, or not every, but we aim for Thursday nights. You can follow us on Twitter. We post it there or in the discords, or just if you're subbed, you're going to get this. Not here, Paul. You can't type that stuff here. I'll never see it. You got to go to the video where we talk about the giveaway, and then you make your comments there, and then that will unlock more prizes, and give us a place to just kind of look. Um, so, but hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully you're all doing well out there, and have a good night. Bye.